welcome back to my channel. So quick update. So my last ortho appointment was in February, and my orthodontist said, listen, I'm giving you the thickest wires they make on your top and your bottom. So now it's up to you to be diligent about your rubber bands. So I feel like he's kind of telling me low-key, like, hey, wear your rubber bands because we're towards the end of your treatment, which is great news. May of this year will be my second year of this second round of treatment. So for those of you who have never seen my videos before, this is my second time getting braces. And I've made a couple videos about like how braces work, things to not eat, what the process is going to look like, etc., etc. So what I want to do today, before I get my braces off, hopefully like within the year, is just go over the most commonly Googled questions about braces. That way my next video and my last video, at least my last video around braces, maybe my last video total for YouTube, will just be me showing you guys like my final smile. And I'm also going to include, hopefully, the photo my orthodontist took of me before they put my braces on the second time, so you can really get an idea of like how drastically my smile changed. But one thing I do want to share, I have been working on myself quite a bit. I do a lot of self-development. I've been doing that for a couple years now. And I'm currently into minimalism. So what I'm going to be doing this year is minimizing everything that I own and have. And hopefully I'll be able to stop acquiring a bunch of stuff that I don't need. I've never asked this before of my YouTube viewers, but if you all would like to watch me become a minimalist, please thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel. So what I'm going to do, if I do, get people who are interested in viewing that, I know minimalism has been a thing for a while now. I'm currently reading a book on it, and there's a really popular TV show out that's not really centered around like minimalism, but if you really pay attention to what they're doing, that's kind of what it is basically. But what I would do is just kind of walk you guys through what I currently have and then actually record myself getting rid of stuff and what that process would look like. Of course, if you all are not interested in that, then there's no need to subscribe or thumbs up my stuff. I'll just finish out with my braces stuff and that'll be that. I'll still go my minimalistic way. I just won't record it for YouTube. But I figured I would try that as the next project as well because I'm really excited for it, and I think it would be helpful for some people because I'm pretty excited to not have a bunch of stuff or feel the need to buy a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it just is really, minimalism is very attractive to me right now, and I've actually been kind of living minimalistically but not knowing how to like label it. So I don't know if my transformation will be all that drastic compared to some people, but I know there are some areas of my life that are really overly cluttered, super materialistic, and I just like want to get rid of all of that. So yeah, like and subscribe if you guys are interested in that. Otherwise, let's jump into the most commonly asked questions about braces. So first of all, what are the alternatives to metal braces? Okay, so I have a traditional pair of metal braces that you go get at a orthodontist. They have Invisalign, they have Smile Club, and I think there's another form that you can get as well that's along similar lines. So basically, Invisalign and Smile Club are pretty similar. It's more of like a clear retainer, so it's not as drastic as like traditional metal braces. It's also typically a lot cheaper to do it that way. Now the reason, for example, that I couldn't go those routes is because the problems that I have with my teeth and my bite cannot be corrected by those forms of braces. I had to go the traditional metal route, but if you can correct whatever's wrong with your bite going the other ways, I would definitely do research and talk to your orthodontist about that. The Smile Club is the one that you always see. They do a lot of commercials on YouTube and TV for it. I don't think it requires an actual orthodontist. You just send them like an impression of your teeth, and they send you a retainer each month. Like I said, for my issues, my dental issues, those options wouldn't have worked for me, which is why I went the traditional way. At what age should my child get braces? That's a great question. So I've heard that, okay, so let me backtrack, sorry. The first time I got braces, I started the whole process in the 5th grade. So in the 5th grade, I got my spacers and then I got an expander. So I didn't get my actual braces put on the first time until I was in the 6th grade. So I was pretty young at that point. And I've heard that they're having better luck fixing bites if they are able to place braces on children when they still have their baby teeth. I mean, I'm not an orthodontist, like, don't get it wrong, so I don't like know the details of that. But I know that they're splitting ortho work into stages. So when I was younger and I got my braces, like, I went through the whole process the first time, my baby teeth were pulled or they had fallen out. Like, I didn't have any baby teeth left. But I have read some literature where they're, like I said, they're splitting the process, and they're in a better position to fix the child's bite if they put the braces on when they have the baby teeth. So I don't really know what that process looks like. I have two sort of trains of thought when it comes to this. I think it's better to get your children braces when they're younger, just because, like I said, it's sounding like we can correct things easier when they have those baby teeth. And also, it's not that painful, and I think it's better to just get it done and over with. That way, by the time they're in high school and they're older, they don't have to go through braces or feel like embarrassed about it, you know. But the other train of thought I have on that is, I got my braces off the first time. I had them from the 5th grade. I got them off Valentine's Day, my senior year of high school. And I still didn't wear my retainer. I mean, I did, but I didn't wear it responsibly because I didn't take it seriously because I was a teenager. And also, honestly, it was because I had braces for so long. When they said my teeth would move, I rationed like, oh, my teeth won't move because I had braces for so long, like an extremely long amount of time. Most people only have braces for a couple years, like I'm doing the second time. The first time I had them for like 7 years. You know, it was crazy. So those are two things to consider. Like, you know, if you have a really young child who gets their braces off at like 12 because you start them super early, just make sure they're responsible enough to know the importance of wearing their retainer. That's what I'm getting at, is I think it would be great to get them on earlier, but also keep in mind youngins, you know, they might not remember or understand why it's so important to wear their retainer, and then you end up like me, having braces when you're older. Are braces available for adults? Yes, they sure are. Do braces do anything other than improve my smile? It's kind of a weird question. So having a nice smile, I feel like, has multiple benefits. I have also read some stuff that having straight teeth leads to better like health in your mouth in general. So the whole point of braces is to straighten your teeth so you can have a nicer smile, you can feel more confident, things like that. But I think there's also health benefits. But outside of straightening, if I'm understanding the question correctly, it's not going to do anything other than improve your smile. But improving your smile comes with multiple benefits, if that makes sense. Are braces really that bad? I don't think they're that bad, but again, this is my second rodeo, and my first rodeo, I had them on for a long time. So, you know, people kind of make jokes. Like, I have a lot of friends from high school who are like, so did you just like never get your braces off? Like, what's going on with that? So I don't really think they're that bad. They're uncomfortable, to say the least, but they're not really that terrible. I don't think they are, personally. How can I make my kids more comfortable with the idea of braces? So I feel like I'm kind of shocked that that's a question because, you know, we live in a society where we put so much emphasis on what people look like, and smiles are so huge to like your physical appearance. I was really self-conscious about my smile once I had realized how much my teeth moved. Because the first couple years when I had my braces off the first time, I kind of took advantage of that. Like, I really didn't think that they would move. I thought that was an insane idea to even think about. If you're having issues with getting your kids comfortable with braces, or you're anticipating that, I would start some positive reinforcement amongst or around like dental work in general. So by the time I got my braces on, I mean, obviously I had been to the dentist several times and I had several teeth pulled. I think a lot of times young kids, we kind of we have this idea around going to the dentist that's really negative. So if you reinforce that with your kids and they already hate going to get their teeth cleaned, like the idea of putting metal brackets on their mouth, it probably doesn't sound very good to them. So I would just say, if you want to help them become more comfortable, is to just make them more comfortable with dental stuff in general. Like, going to the dentist should be exciting. Like, oh, I get to get my teeth cleaned. Like, they're gonna get nice and pretty, and you know, it's healthy and good for you. So I would just say, kind of focusing on the mindset that you are reinforcing with your child when it comes to dental work is probably the best route around that. Are braces permanent? So no, you can have braces for a really long time, but you wouldn't have them on forever, at least not that I know of. You will have to wear a retainer for the rest of your life. Depending on what kind of retainer you have, you can get a permanent retainer. Otherwise, you'll get like a plastic molding basically that you take in and out. When I first got my braces off and I had my first set of retainers, you wear them 24/7 basically, except when you eat, of course. And then you transition to just wearing them at night. But I do know people who have permanent retainers as well, they're the metal ones that sit in your mouth. And honestly, I'm going to be trying to get those this second round. That way I don't have to deal with taking something in and out. I'd rather have it permanent personally. So no permanent braces that I'm aware of, but you will have to wear your retainer, or else you'll end up like me and your teeth will move again. So how much should I save for braces? Okay, so this depends on where you live, right? Economy changes from state to state. I want to say the first time my parents paid for my braces, it was probably around $5,000, $5,000 total. We went to a private practice orthodontist at that time, and he's really well known in my state. So he has a really like big name for himself. Right now, I go to more of like a general practice where orthodontists like switch out, and it's like a chain ortho. So the orthodontist I see exists in multiple states in the United States. I mean, it's not in every state, but like I said, it's a chain, so it's not like a private, like just one orthodontist that has like this big name and he's well known or whatever. Whatever they do in the ortho community that makes them super cool. So this round, I think I'd have to do the math, because the way that I paid for my braces is very different than the way that my parents did when I was younger. So I think this round I'm paying maybe $3,000, $4,000. I don't think I paid the full $5,000. Also in this instance, I didn't have to put down a down payment, but I also didn't have insurance kicking in. So my insurance wouldn't cover any ortho work. The orthodontist that I go to doesn't require a down payment. You just pay monthly. You pay every month on your braces until your braces come off. So obviously, had I had a shorter treatment, then it would have cost less money. So I would say it depends. Also, something to keep in mind, this is something that I looked up but I didn't have the opportunity to do, is if the city or state that you live in has an orthodontic school, you can get your braces done there for a significantly cheaper price, obviously, because your treatment's going to be completed by a student in training, basically, which things like that don't really bother me. Like, I would have done it, but it's not offered in my state. We don't have an orthodontist school here. And I even looked at the financial perspective of driving to a neighboring state that does have it, but it wouldn't have the costs, just, you know, with me driving there, going every month, stuff like that. It just wouldn't have mattered to me. So I would say anticipate, honestly, anywhere between $3,000 and $7,000 in total to get your braces, you know, all of this fixed up. What is the best age for braces? I don't really have an opinion on that. Like I said, I think the earlier the better, personally, but that's just me. And what else do we have here? How often will I have to go to the orthodontist for my braces? Okay, so you will see your orthodontist once a month, once you get your braces on. That doesn't mean that something will happen every time you go to the dentist. Sometimes you go and they just check it out to see what's going on, look at your progression, and sometimes they give you a new wire. Sometimes they do like little twisties. But sometimes they're just like, yep, looks like everything's going okay, and then they move on. So it will be once a month appointments. What will happen when I get my braces off? That I don't remember. Although I do remember the first time I got my braces off, they gave me a whole big thing of a bunch of candy that I wasn't supposed to be eating when I had my braces on, that I secretly was eating. But they're like, congratulations, you can eat these Starbursts now. And I was like, yeah, totally. But I don't know what it's going to look like the second time. I don't know. I mean, obviously the process is to just get them removed. But I don't know any of the details on that. And I'm sure they lecture you on your retainer, but which I shouldn't be rolling my eyes. This is why I had to get braces the second time, because I didn't wear my retainer. Let's see. One more question. What happens when you get braces on? Okay, so when you go to get your braces, what's going to happen is you're going to go to your orthodontist. You're going to get a consultation. So they're going to do moldings, they might do x-rays, they're going to kind of evaluate what's going on in here and what they need to fix. And then usually they'll give you like an estimated time frame of about how long they think it's going to take to fix whatever problems you're having. And then usually they'll figure out all the finances and stuff, right? Like how much would you need to pay, down payment if that's required. And then your next appointment after that, once you're like on board and part of the ortho office, usually they only put the top on first, so you'll get these brackets and this wire, and then this second treatment, they didn't give me my bottom brackets till I was like 2 months into treatment. I'm not really sure why they do that. I don't know if it's like a pain thing. They don't want to overwhelm or like super stress your mouth. But I've had other friends who have had braces, and the same thing with them. Also, before you get your brackets and your wire, if needed, you'll get spacers and an expander. So the spacers create space between your teeth so they can actually place the braces, because they need this little crown here. They need to place that to actually hold everything together. Since my teeth are super overcrowded and I have a bunch of teeth, they had to create that space by putting a spacer in, which, by the way, if you want to talk about pain when it comes to braces, I think spacers are the most painful part of braces, honestly. This stuff doesn't really bother me. Sometimes when I get a new wire, you know, my mouth will be sore for a couple of days. I won't really want to like eat anything or chew because it just feels like a lot of like dull, heavy pressure. But spacers are like a sharp, it's like a little rubber band that they fit over the tooth in between, because they're trying to create space. So that's a lot of pressure. Those are really uncomfortable. Now, expanders, I don't really know what those are looking like these days, because I talked to my current orthodontist and he was like, oh, you had the old school expander. So the expander I had was literally this little contraption. I had to get it on the top and the bottom. And what it does is it's like a little tool. So I can't really demo it. I don't know why I'm trying to, but everyone likes to look at people's mouths when they have braces anyways. It's like this weird fascination. But anyways, it looked like a little cage right here. And they gave your parents a tool, and you stick the tool into this little cage and you rotate it. And so it would widen, okay, it's an expander, so it would like widen your bite area. So you had to do that for the bottom and the top. I had to do that anyway. So I had to get spacers, then the expander, and then the braces came on. So you'll basically have your consultation. Here's what's going on. Here's how long we think it'll take to fix it. And then the next appointment is when all of the good stuff actually happens. So yeah, I think that's a good amount of the most commonly asked questions about braces. Next time you all will be hopefully seeing me with my braces off, right? And then I can show you all the before and after photo. Again, like and subscribe if you guys are interested in watching me go into my minimalist lifestyle. And to all those people out there, if y'all are thinking about getting braces or you have braces, stick with it. It's worth it, man. I mean, it's amazing to have an incredible smile, especially if you're like me. I laugh and smile a lot, and it's nice to, you know, feel confident about that. And when people compliment you, I mean, it just feels, it's worth the money. I've said that in my videos before. I'll say it again. Save up your money, however you can get it paid for. If you really want to have that nice smile, do it. It's totally worth it, dude. Totally worth it.